I'd like to welcome everyone to the Public Works Planning Commission Committee meeting for February 3rd, 2026. Yes, first we'll have a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Cush?
Present.
Commissioner Piercy?
Here.
Commissioner P?
Here.
Commissioner James?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here.
Commissioner Dodd?
Here.
Chairman Johnson?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Next, we'll have approved the minutes with Vice Chair Phil Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. I've read the minutes, and they look in order to me, so I'll make a motion for their approval.
Okay. Second. Motion and a second to approve the minutes for last meeting. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, public comments. We have Keith Bratcher. Welcome, Keith.
How you doing?
Doing well, you?
My name is Keith Bratcher. I'm coming here tonight to y'all's committee meeting. I'm a county highway commissioner. Y'all have something that's going to be down on your agenda, the sixth one that Superintendent Brooks is going to present to y'all. So I'm just here to make it short that I am in support of this. We had our meeting Monday morning, and it was to do with the some amendments that was made to the private act. So I'm not going to go too much into detail. Let Mr. Brooks do that. But I do serve on the Highway Commission, and I did vote for this. I am in support of it. So I'll be here later on if y'all have any questions. Or if you have any now, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Any questions? Okay. Okay, third thing on our agenda is the consideration of proposed private act relating to the Rutherford County Highway Department and the Highway Commissioner's Superintendent Greg Brooks. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here tonight to bring to you the revision to our private act that our county attorney put together for us recently at the request of the road board. This has been an ongoing conversation now for months. One of our newer members was concerned about the fact that the private act that exists now did not completely line up with how we're doing business or county uniform highway law, which is general law. So he wanted to clean it up. And that conversation, like I said, has been ongoing for quite some time. And so at some point, the board decided in the general consensus that we should get the county attorney involved to help us craft the language that we wanted to see, that everybody wanted to see. So that happened, and Nick started coming to the meetings, and after a lot of digging, because the private act that we were operating under is quite old, and it had a lot of antiquated language in it. The meeting dates, times, how we elect the chairman, how we elect the vice chair, a lot of things that had been superseded by county uniform highway law, Tennessee Code Annotated, general law. So first we had to peel all that apart and figure out what still remained of our private act based on the changes to uniform highway law. There was some significant changes to that in 2012, which is when I took office, just for the record. But all that being said, there were suggestions made by board members that, some of them were incorporated into this new document, and some of them were not. But I think the general consensus, the general feeling of the board was this was a good draft that Nick brought to us. So all that to say, because there is an effort, in order to change this private act, we would have to get it to the General Assembly, the legislature. So that window is narrowing, the opportunity to get it to them. Because of the nature of this business, it can still be presented to them. The opportunity for other things have closed, but because this is a private act, it can still be presented to them at this time. So what would happen is it would be voted on, and it was voted on at the road board. And then, so last night we were able to get on steering in an effort to get to the full commission, because the full commission has to approve this and then send it to our delegation at the Capitol. And so, and then if, assuming that they agree, then they would make that formal motion, and then they would send it back to the full commission for ratification. So that's the reason that we're here this quick. That's the reason that we were at steering last night. But so at steering last night, it was decided, it was determined that not only should it go to steering, and obviously Public Works, because this is where all things highway come, you know, all things road board related come to Public Works. But it should also go to budget, because we did, the new language does change the purchasing provision of the private act to mimic what county general does. So that changes the spending limits, that, you know, the allowable spending limits. So it was determined that it should probably go to budget because of that. So after tonight, budget, I believe, is Thursday night. And so in my opinion, what should happen here tonight is, you know, a favorable recommendation to move this on to budget. So if anybody has any questions, I know it's a lot to lay on you, but if anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer them.
Mr. Cush.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This was presented last night at steering, which I am a member. Nick Christensen was in attendance and laid out the legal part of
Right.
the why, ifs, whens, and wheres, is why this needed to be updated. So in his absence, I'm just letting you know that our attorney was present last night at steering and explained to the steering committee what these changes were. Your increase in spending, you're probably the last guy that runs a county department that hasn't had their minimum expenditure raised. We started raising that to everybody about 3 years ago, as I recall. So that is not a big deal. And steering voted, I think, 7-0 last night, 7-0 to pass this on to Public Works. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we engage and support this private act and move this on to budget for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to support the private act change and to move it on to budget. Any questions?
Couple, what was the vote at the road board?
6 yes, and 1 person was absent. 1 person had to leave early.
Okay, besides the bond or the amount that you have to, maximum you can bid to, and I've read that, of course, is why it's going to budget. What other major changes were there?
I do not believe there were any other, what I would consider major changes. A lot of the other things were just cleaning up the old language. You know, there's things in our private act about Percy Priest Dam and the workhouse that the road superintendent used to be over, and you know, there's just a lot of stuff that was just needed. It just needed a good cleaning up.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? No, ma'am, you're not supposed to ask questions from the audience. We're in the discussion part, but it's committee members. Okay. We have a lady in the audience that's on the road board, and she would like to speak. If it's okay with the committee, we'll suspend the rules. If the committee wants to suspend the rules and let her speak, that's fine. If not, I mean, it's up to the committee. Hearing none. No, ma'am, I'm sorry. Oh. I'm sorry. Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Piercy.
The reason I second that motion, my road board commissioner discussed this with me in depth and answered every question I had, and I was very satisfied with him being able to speak to me and having the knowledge to answer all the questions that I had. This is the reason I second this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Yeah, we'll do a roll call on this.
Commissioner P.,
Yes.
Commissioner James. Yes. Commissioner Dodd,
Yes.
Commissioner Piercy,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Cush,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all I have for you this evening. Is there no more questions?
So this will move on to budget.
Yes.
Thanks, Greg. Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Dodd.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Dodd.
Commissioner Chairman Phillips or yourself, what is the process for a citizen to speak at an upcoming meeting? Is there a process to submit for public comments, as Mr. Bratcher did ahead of time? Can
Yes.
y'all explain that?
Anyone that wants to speak, we have a public comments at every meeting, committee and commission, and you have to call the mayor's office. That's a 4 o'clock day.
You have to call the mayor's office by 4:30. If the meeting is at night, you have until 4:30 of that day of the meeting. If the meeting is during the day, for instance, we have opioid at 10 o'clock, you have to call the day before by the end of business. You will give your name and topic and a phone number in case we were to have to cancel emergency or something. But other than that, they can call me, come into the office, or email me, either way, and I'll put it down.
Mr. Chairman, if I'm not mistaken, whatever they want to speak on has to be on the agenda, or they wouldn't be allowed to speak to, is my understanding. Is that correct?
That is correct. It has to be germane to that particular agenda, except for the county commission, then they can speak about anything within Rutherford County.
Since we were
Yeah,
given the rules, I wanted them all.
yeah, to
Thank you.
clear, yeah, thank you.
And there have been occasions, too, that the rules have been suspended, but that's up to the committee, and that's a process I used. Asked the committee if they wanted to suspend the rules, and no response. So we had to move on. Solid Waste and Convenience Centers, Assistant Director Davis, interim director. Welcome.
Good evening. I am Matt Davis, your interim solid waste director. with our report for the month. The month of January, we managed 144.78 tons of brush for a revenue of $4,345. We processed 570 tires for revenue of $1,205. This makes the total landfill revenues of $5,550. In January, we managed waste from all sources totaling 2,902.94 tons, including 2,156.01 tons from convenience centers, 383.6 tons from schools. Additionally, we collected 363.33 tons of recycling from all sources. This makes our residential diversion rate 13.21% for January. Also, new signs for convenience centers are very close to being able to be posted. If it wasn't for the bad weather, we would have already started on that. Also, we have some speed bumps already put up and more of those on order. Single stream recycling, I want to point out to the committee and to the public that's watching, is the most practical and cost-efficient way to increase overall recycling and diversion. Single stream simplifies participation for residents by allowing most common recyclables to be placed in one container. That's cardboard, paper, plastic number 1 and 2, and metal cans are accepted in a single compactor at all county convenience centers. This makes a real difference in reducing costs to the county and our need for landfill space as we help our citizens dispose of their waste responsibly. I have a voice message I'd like to share with you that came from a transfer station client. I think our OIT is going to help me play that now.
Hey, Matt, this is I emailed you, I guess about a week ago, about just asking information about the transfer station. I'm a resident in the Rutherford County area, so I just wanted to let you know I did end up coming out and made a load, worked out really well. What a nice facility that is. I just wanted to thank y'all for pursuing that and getting that built. And then your staff was amazing, which has not been my experience in the past with the whatever it is, if it's Reliance or whatever the waste company is when I had to go to Middle Point. So thank you for representing our county well and for having that as a great asset for our community. Also, a real funny story. You told me to maximize the load that I brought in, since it was, $50 or $95 and no in-between charges. And I brought in 984 pounds. So I think I got pretty close to maxing that out. So anyway, all that to say, thank you. Appreciate you. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.
That's pretty representative of what we hear from our customers, that it's a great facility and our staff is doing a great job of running it. Going on the transfer station, we processed 6,990.38 tons of waste last month. 6,311 tons were from customers with accounts, and 678.79 tons were from retail customers. 74.4% of the total tonnage came from WM. And the origin of waste is as follows. For last month, Rutherford County was 86.2% of our waste. Wilson County was 11.22%. Davidson County was 1.39%. And all others were 1.19%. I included the fourth quarter numbers for last year because that is what we report to TDEC quarterly, and I submitted that. It's in your iPads tonight. And that concludes my solid waste report for the committee.
Do we have any questions? Discussion? Commissioner P.
A couple of things. One, could we get a print copy of this, of your breakdown? I'd like to get that.
You can have mine after the meeting.
All right, thank you. And second, I got a call from a constituent, and I appreciate you calling back too, but I want to make the rest of this committee aware we are still having problems at our convenience centers with people that are being rude or doing things that shouldn't be doing. And I've suggested in the past that we need to get video cameras at those locations, and I'm tired of asking for that. I want that to happen. I don't know what the rest of us can do about making that happen. Now, I've heard, and he's going to repeat that we don't have Wi-Fi at all of them. We don't have to have Wi-Fi. We can get dash cams and put out there that record, and the only time you'll need to download it is when there's an incident somebody wants to look at. So that can happen, but I strongly suggest you get with Cody to see if you can't make that happen. I'd be willing to, make a motion to, I think you've got the money in your budget, or I would suggest that we would even look at giving you more money. If you don't have money and you can show me that, then come to budget and we'll see if we can work something out. But I want to see this happen. There's too many instances of people doing things they shouldn't be doing it, and this will be protection for our employees, and it'll be protection for the public. But anyway, like I said, if there's any way we can make that happen, I would appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll meet with OIT and see what can be done.
So you're just going to take care of that without a motion, right? Just a routine, you're going to take care of it. Thank you.
We got a motion on the floor about what to approve. That's why I did make a motion.
No.
We don't have a motion to approve this report. I thought we had
Not yet. I didn't think so. I was like, who did?
Sorry about that. Well, I'll make a motion that we have our director talk to Cody to see about getting cameras set up at all of our convenience centers. And if you need more money, we forward that to budget. That's my motion.
Okay, we have a motion. And a second. Yes, this will go to budget. This is to have our director speak with Cody about getting our cameras at the convenience centers. And if he doesn't have the money, then budget.
We can discuss it at budget, where we can find it. We're pretty good at finding money out of their budget, so that's where we'll look first.
Discussion.
Would you be able to bring back next month to tell us kind of a plan of action that y'all were able to set up and discover what would work?
Absolutely. I'll meet with
Would that be too quick for
Cody
you?
and OIT, and I'll just report on our progress, if that's...
Yeah, I'd like to know kind of what plan you're able to come up with and everything else, not just go straight to budget. I'd like to, even though I know for the money that might need to come through, I can respect that, but I'd like to kind of know the steps that you're going to find and how you're going to put it together.
Absolutely.
I would assume that Cody would help write a scope of specs on what would be, with his knowledge, he would probably have an idea what would be needed. And then would that information need to go to purchasing and send out a bid request?
I don't know. That's very possible, depending on what the cost is. If it's a negligible cost, maybe not. We've just talked about the levels where we have to bid.
I mean, if it was a couple $1,000s a piece times all the convenience centers, you're going to easily look at $50,000 plus. So,
The big thing for me as a department is I want to do what OIT can support us in.
Yeah.
I'm not married to any particular kind of cameras, or if it's the kind that Mr. P,
And I'm not
Commissioner P spoke about. I think it would increase our safety and our accountability. I think that's important.
And Nick or Mr. Smith can advise you on whether this will need to be bid out and go to purchasing.
I think if I may, I think the first step's going to be just working with OIT to figure out a cost and a plan, and then we'll bring it to you. Is that?
Sounds good.
That's why I said we'd have Matt take care of it, because I have full confidence in Matt's ability to take that forward and get it done. Vice Chair Dodd.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner P., do you want, I'm just curious, like, would it be at the compactors, and do you want sound? Is recording interactions important? Is that like one of your complaints?
I would think so.
So you know
at least
with sound.
at least the visual. If some kind of confrontation, that would catch that. It'd be nice if we had audio too. But, you know, we can talk about the scope and as he talks to Cody. But, you know, even, I think a dash cam is probably the lowest level that we get. And you get at least video off that. So we've got something. And a lot of people, if they know they're on camera, they're not going to act quite as foolish, you know, commissioners besides us. But at any rate, I'd appreciate that. Sure. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
For the report, move to approve.
And we'll call a roll, please.
Hey, withdraw, I jumped the gun on that one a little bit.
He's not recognizing the motion.
Okay, this motion is Robert Pease about the cameras, okay?
Yes.
Commissioner Piercy,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd,
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd,
Yes.
Commissioner P,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Cush,
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Now move to approve on the report.
Correct. We have a motion and a second to approve the report. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Thank you.
I do.
Okay. Budget
The
amendment.
other thing I have for you tonight is a budget amendment for the Solid Waste Fund. It's a good problem. I'm happy to bring it to you, even though it is a budget amendment. When we made projections for the waste we would process at the transfer station, we're exceeding that now. And so this budget amendment shows increasing revenue in the tipping fees and increasing expense for disposal and hauling and loading.
Commissioner P.
So you're asking to move these tipping fees into which, into the transfer station or the contractor?
It's
the other way
the
around.
contract with private agencies is where we pay for disposal.
Okay. I don't have a problem making a motion for approval of this. I would like accounting of where these tipping fees are coming from, though. So that'll be part of my motion to approve this, forward it to budget for approval, and attach to that where these fees are coming from. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this amendment and have attachments showing where we're moving it to or from.
Coming from the counties or the business or whatever.
Everyone understand that?
Clarify what you mean, where it's coming from? Just
I want to know who's doing the tipping fees. If it's an individual, it's a corporation, or whoever it is. That's what I want to know. You know, if it's waste management, if it's Go Blow's disposal, whoever's it is.
so kind of like an accounts receivable invoice?
That's correct, and I'm sure they got that. If they don't, they should have.
Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Commissioner Cush? Yes. Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Commissioner Piercy.
Do you have any answers or information toward the pilot program we're doing for recycling at Central Mag?
We are taking steps with it. I would say it's still early. We're measuring the recycling and the other garbage at the school every time we pick it up. We're working with the student at the school this is his thesis. I think we're starting to see some shift in, diverting waste into recycling instead of landfill. but it's very early. I think we're going to be to the end of the school year when we really start seeing the biggest improvements.
Has there been any adjustment at the transfer station to combine our recycling efforts into one large vehicle rather than making several trips a day to Nashville?
Not yet.
Nothing at all?
I'm discussing as part of the budget process is how we'll do that with getting a truck and trailer to do it, but it's really not progress right now.
Chairman, back when Bill Ketron was mayor, could have been at the beginning of Mayor Carr, but I don't think so. There was $5 million put in an emergency fee in case Republic closed. Does anyone know what happened to that $5 million, or is it still in that line item?
I thought that went down to about 4.5 with one of the other fees, but is that still sitting in that line item, or did we end up using that during the build of the transfer station? If I remember.
Can't ask the man the question that he just asked, because I don't know.
I'm asking Commissioner P. if he remembers, because I think he was trying to keep it from being added to that build fee.
My understanding, that was just in case we needed to, he explained it well, what the money was set aside for. I think it was also set aside for in case of lawsuits, but the majority of that money is still there, and I think it's still in that location. I think the mayor's made a request or two to move some of that. I think some of that's been granted, but I'd have to get with Michael to see exactly what's there. But I'm sorry I can't give you a solid answer. I don't carry a ledger with me.
Mr. Piercy.
We more or less revamped the convenience center down at, the new one. Is there any plans in the future to do any work to any of the other convenience centers? I know a lot of them are running in gravel and potholes, and it's just going to be worse as the winter moves on. Is there any way to make any headway toward maybe a little paving work around some of them, or just anything to get the people up out of the sludge?
We're kind of on two tracks with that. As far as the big renovations like Smyrna, Leanna, Rockville, I think I would have to ask Michael about that money. As far as other improvements we can make, I'm happy to use our budget to, reconfigure where it makes sense, to add where it makes sense, or what we can do there. And so I would say it's kind of a two-track thing that we're looking at and kind of going through the budget process to hopefully make some big moves on it soon.
That's the reason I was wondering about the $5 million, if it was still laying in there. If it wasn't spent on a transfer station and it was put aside for emergency trash situation, I think, my opinion would be spend it on the trash department, somehow. Even the convenience centers, just whatever, not let it be daddled away, a little bit here, a little bit there. My last question, I'll let you go sit down. I know Waste Management is contributing a huge amount of trash into our transfer station. If we had to stop putting Rutherford County's trash in the Republic landfill tomorrow, would it handle what's going in it today plus Rutherford County's trash?
Easily.
Easily?
Easily.
Okay. How does the amount of trash Rutherford County produces a month compare to what Waste Management is putting into that transfer station?
Forgive me. The county, through the convenience centers, we're doing, almost 3,000 tons. This month was a little low. We're usually a little more than 3,000 tons. This last month, transfer station. WM was 74% of almost 7,000 tons. So they're doing a little more than double what we are. But the transfer station, I know I might upset some of my employees, but it could easily do double what it's doing right now, and I don't think it would be a problem.
I'll let you sit down now. Thank you.
So, thank you.
Actually, I have a question to follow up with on A. Have you started looking at plans, or could you start looking at plans if you haven't, to start reorganizing our convenience centers in a way to where it could maximize for when that day does happen, when we're solely into the transfer station, to where like some of our clients who are dumping on the scales at the transfer station could do site dumps for the smaller bins or something we transport there, or somewhere else expand it and make the convenience centers even more convenient in that manner?
I would be open to exploring it. You know, I think that's definitely something that if we change how we operate, has to go through some approvals, but I would be open to those conversations. You know, anything to make it easier, you know, is good for everybody.
Just I'd like to kind of think about the idea a little bit. Maybe there's movement, maybe it's not, but it's just a thought to see to be a good moment to start preemptive being ready for the day that might come.
Anyone else? Chairman Phillips.
Matt, your title is still Assistant Director, and you're also serving as an interim. How long have you been doing that?
Since September, so 4 months.
Almost 6 months, somewhere in that neighborhood. Budget is coming up. Are you in charge of putting the budget together?
I'm absolutely working with the mayor and Michael to do that.
You feel comfortable with that?
Yes.
Thank you for the job that you're doing, bud. Good job.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to say again, I'm really happy with the results that we've had in the change of command with the convenience centers and solid waste in general. Just a fresh breath of air. And I appreciate it. Keep doing a good job, Matt. Last month, Ms. Donna Barrett came and gave her recycle report, and she showed a video, and it was a lot of information, a lot of good information, and she works hard at what she does. But she is, really what she was speaking on last month was more regional as far as the recycle, because, I mean, she had a nice setup in the garage and had everything separated. I still do that, and then I take it over and I dump it all in one bin. I just can't stop separating it. So last time I went, though, I did put it all together before I went, but that's all you have to do is put all of your number 1s and 2 plastics, of your paper and cans, put it all in one container and take it over there, dump it in the recycle compactor. And then it's taken to Nashville, and they have a sorting floor. They dump it out there and they sort it there. So it works very well. It's very easy to recycle, and I was really proud to hear, because I say it just about every month, if you're not recycling, why not? Well, I had a commissioner tell me that about 2 weeks ago, he went and bought a bin. He's recycling now. He said, I never really thought about it that much. So I'm proud that he's doing that, and I hope everyone else is. So next on the agenda, the Planning and Engineering, Director Doug DeMasi. Welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners. Doug DeMasi, County Planning Director. Just have regular reports for you tonight and a couple of additional items we'll get to here in just a couple minutes. Our first report is our available lot inventory. You should all be familiar with this at this point. You'll see that the total available lots as of the end of January of this year was 1,096. That is up a little bit from last month. I think it was 1,077 last month. You will notice, though, that it is down slightly from this same time last year, where it was 1,109. Again, permit activity has been a little bit slower, especially with the weather and the winter months and everything. That's not terribly unusual. So I would expect to see an increase, an uptick in that activity come spring. Does anybody have any questions about the available lot inventory? If not, I'll jump into, I'm sure what you all really want to hear about is the rezoning report. We will have 2 applications for your consideration next week. The first is for 2 properties along Old Nashville Highway. This is by Mechanics on a Mission. The applicant would like to use the existing shop on the property. There's 2 addresses, 6752 Old Nashville Highway, for repairing vehicles, but would also like the ability to store and sell cars from the property. You can read the description from their application. They buy cars, complete repairs, donate them to veterans, single mothers, and other people in need. If all they were doing on these properties was repairing the cars, they could do that under the commercial services, the CES zone. However, commercial general allows for motor vehicle sales where CES does not. So that is the primary reason that they are asking for this designation for both the 6752 and then the larger property at 6742, which is currently zoned for residential purposes. The applicant has submitted a concept plan. You'll find that on your iPads. Access and parking, everything, landscaping permit standards, those would obviously have to meet county requirements. They are aware that they would have to do an engineered site plan should this application be approved. Prior to the public hearing, the commission had some questions on the buffering and screening requirements. We explained those. There was also some discussion on the discussion on the condition of the property. You'll notice in the aerial photo that's included on your agenda files on your iPads that there is a lot of material on the property. Now that is a dated photo. That was about a year ago. The owners have since cleaned all that up, and our building codes director, Tanya Bell, during the meeting also verified that they had been out there, and yes, indeed, all that had been cleaned up. So what you're seeing on the iPad is a dated image. During the public hearing, the applicant with Mechanics on a Mission, Brian Sweat, spoke about the ministry. There were no other speakers, and following the public hearing, there was a motion made to recommend approval of the request that was approved by a unanimous vote. The second item for consideration is one that was considered by the Planning Commission and County Commission about a year ago. These are for properties along Almaville Road right at the I-840 interchange. These are on the southwest corner of the interchange. Excuse me just a second. My Surface is acting up a little bit here, so it's not wanting to load that part of the report. So bear with me just a second. No, I got it. Thank you, though. So these properties, there's 3 of them, although there's only 2 addresses, 8470 and 8478 Almaville Road. Commissioner James, I believe this is in your district. Just for a little bit of background, as I stated, these were the subject of a previously considered rezoning case. The request at the time was for EAC, Employment and Activity Center. It contemplated similar uses. The Planning Commission did recommend approval at their February 2025 meeting. However, the Board of Commissioners, during their March 13th meeting, there were several people that spoke in opposition to the application, citing traffic concerns, and the application was ultimately denied. So we've had discussions with the applicant since that time. They did decide to move forward with this, but as a planned development, which is what you have before you tonight. So the applicant, as I stated, is proposing to zone these properties to PUD. The application states that it'll primarily support the development of warehouse and distribution facilities designed to attract and accommodate both local and national businesses. No tenants specifically identified at this time, however. You can find on the pattern book, which has been included on your iPads as well, there is a concept plan on page 8. There are 3 separate buildings. They range in size from anywhere from 80,000 to about 162,000 square feet. The combined sizes of all the buildings would not exceed 375,000, which is actually less than their previous application, which was over 430,000. Page 9 shows a list of allowable uses, and pages 10 and 11 show architectural characteristics, and page 13 shows a buffering and screening plan. There was a lot of discussion about this. It actually came to the Planning Commission originally back in August of last year. However, it was deferred to allow the applicant time to prepare a traffic study and for staff to review that. We have done that. This I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. This will be similar to the discussion we had on the Los Bolden properties, which were on Ocala Road with the participation agreement. So those discussions are ongoing right now. We do expect to have the finalized agreement at the county commission meeting, similar that we did for the Los Bolden application. Prior to the public hearing, commissioners, as I stated, had questions about that participation agreement. We did state that any approval should be made subject to the executed agreement and that the totals would be finalized by that point. The applicant's representative came up to answer questions. He said the primary change to the plan as it was presented last month was the location of the site access. TDOT didn't want it as close to the interchange as it was, so they did move it to the south. He also stated that right and left turn lanes are being constructed along with the cost for any off-site improvements. There was further discussion about visibility of the buildings from 840. The applicant's representative stated that they would preserve as many trees as they could near the property line to 840 and that these would be attractive-looking buildings. And there was also some discussion about the lighting plan, which would have to be submitted along with the site plan, along with any noise concerns, would help alleviate some of those things. Several people did speak during the public hearing. Primarily, their concerns were about noise and light pollution, safety concerns along Almaville Road, and dividing the costs of the needed road improvements. There were also several that spoke about the changing character of the area to more industrially zoned property, keeping the area residential in nature, and also some stormwater and flooding concerns. Following the public hearing, the Planning Commission did make a motion to approve the development subject to a participation agreement, as I discussed, being approved by the Board of Commissioners. There were some further questions on that, but following the discussion, the Planning Commission did recommend approval by a unanimous vote. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. Those are the only two applications coming before you next week.
Do you have any questions? No questions.
Motion to approve. Report.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Thank you. We have a couple other items on the agenda to discuss today. I'm going to ask, with your permission, of course, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Jared Bonar, our Assistant Engineer for Construction. He's going to go into those items in more detail.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee. Back in May or June of last year, I can't remember, I came before y'all to ask permission to apply for what's called the SS4A grant, Safe Streets for All. It's a federal highways grant. We were notified at the end of December that we had been awarded what we had applied for. So I'm bringing it back before this committee to move it forward and into acceptance if y'all agree with it. So the SS4A grant is a planning grant with a focus on reducing fatal and injury accidents along our streets, pedestrian, shared paths, multimodal corridors. There's two types of grants. There's a planning and demonstration grant and an implementation grant. Rutherford County, with this grant, we will be the very first step in that, which would be to build a comprehensive safety action plan for the county. That action plan will have 7 components: leadership, commitment, and goal setting, planning structure, safety analysis, engagement and collaboration, policy and process changes, strategy, project selections, and progress and transparency. Like I said, we were awarded the grant on the 30th of December 2025. Our ask was $575,000 to begin this process. The U.S. DOT award amount was $460,000, and the county match at 20% is $115,000. At the end, once this action plan is together, we will have a focus on our county road network and maybe look at some of those state highways that fall within the county. It'll be a planning document highlighting our areas of fatal crashes and severe injury, It'll start building the county a strategy to address those locations. And then we'll also have a website to publicly track the progress the county is making, which is part of the grant, part of the language in that grant. So I'll open up to questions at this time.
Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chair Dodd.
Thank you. Has Superintendent Brooks been engaged at all in the application or the award? Is he aware?
He was aware. I've spoken to him about it, but and before now, it's not really been it's not really been discussed further than that, other than the fact that we are applying for it.
Excellent. I know that there are some needs to. Traffic is one of the largest concerns. Traffic and solid waste are the two largest concerns that I observed coming out of Plan Rutherford in the 4 years from 2021 to date. Those two seem to remain number 1 and 2 in focus groups. So I think this is one of the components to move traffic on our list of capital improvement projects. It has to start somewhere. Yes. This, I think, helps us identify and prioritize. So to spur, I would make a motion to accept this grant as written and forward it to budget to make sure the $115,000 20% contribution would be acceptable.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept this grant and move it to budget. So, discussion.
Question on the county match. Is there any kind of in-kind, or is that us just coming up with the cash for that?
It's just, right, as I presented it, it's just us coming up with the cash for it.
Okay.
I've talked to Michael, and he's got mechanism for it already, so he's aware of what's going on.
All right, thank you.
Then $460K from the feds.
Yes.
What was that percentage again?
I believe it's 20%.
That remaining $345,000, if you subtract our match out for that remaining amount, what are the restrictions with those funds? Were there any that, what am I missing?
We have to use it to build the action plan.
That is strictly for the action plan?
Yes, sir.
Like, so if there's anything left over, you can't. Can you use it for anything else, or is it kind of you?
I don't believe so. This is actually year 4 of a 5-year federal program. There is a possibility to reapply for it this coming up fiscal year, and I think we can use some of the leftover funds, if there are any, to do some planning, maybe do some demonstrations. You know, what that is where we've identified a location, and maybe we can put together a project to improve some safety somewhere as part of our roadway network. So this is just helping us to identify those locations.
You said how many this is one of how many years?
The one we've been awarded was year 4 of 5, so there's one more year left in the program at the federal level, unless it's renewed further.
Thank you.
Anyone else? We need a roll call vote, please.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Cush?
Yes.
Commissioner Piercy?
Yes.
Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Aye.
Motion passes.
The second thing I wanted to bring before y'all is another grant, permission to apply is what I'm seeking on this one. It's called the BUILD grant. Within this grant opportunity, there's 2 types of grants. There's capital projects grants, which highway and bridge projects under Title 23 USC fall under. There's some other projects. There's a cost share and minimum requirements for that kind of grant. And there's also planning of projects, which is planning of capital projects up to right-of-way acquisition. There's a development of master plans in there. As I understand, and have researched into this, being that most of the county falls into their rural zone at USDOT, I'm asking to apply for planning side, and there is a no match part of that. It would be 100% federally funded as part of this grant. So what I'm asking for is, per the grant, we can submit up to 3 separate applications and I would like to have permission to submit up to 3 applications as part of this grant program. This is opportunity, permission from this body.
Would each application be a project or?
Essentially, yes. They would be, we would need to talk amongst ourselves a little bit further to identify some locations, and there would be up to 3 potential locations to do that. As I read it, as I understand too, there may be an opportunity to fund the long-range transportation program out of this grant.
That I was going to build up to.
Yes.
Again, if traffic's going to become, if traffic's a defined issue, we have, or it's an issue in the focus groups, we have to define what it is.
Yes.
So Safe Streets for All is a great start.
Yes.
100,000 to 400,000. It's a great match. Will any information from Streets for All be in hand when the other one comes in to begin helping us prioritize?
Yes. They're essentially 2 separate documents, but they would go hand in hand. One is just more focused at safety, and the other, the long-range transportation plan is looking at the network as a whole and where we get bottlenecks and where we need to try to fix traffic.
Excellent. Again, assuming there'll be discussion after this motion so that we all get to chip in, I make a motion to allow engineering department to apply for the grant and bring it back to us if it's awarded for further consideration.
Second. We have a motion and a second to allow them to apply for this grant and then to bring it back to budget. Is that what you said? Planning.
Back here, if it's awarded, yeah. But I just want to make clear, there's accountability if it's awarded. That's the main thing I want to confirm.
So you're saying come back to
Come back here, yes,
meeting?
please.
Is this, if this grant's awarded and, basically we're looking at capital projects and planning, is the planning part only going to be done by the staff, or is this also going to be taken up by the planning commission?
This would not go to planning commission per se. Basically, what we would do is identify some projects. If we are...
We meaning staff?
Say again?
That's my question. You said we. Are you meaning staff, or are you meaning the regional planning commission?
We have, well, it's not that, it's the task group that Commissioner Dodd has kind of formed for us. I think we need to discuss that a little bit more as part of the SS4As, getting a group together. I spoke with the mayor. He was on it, Superintendent Brooks there, getting all of us together and trying to figure out where these projects are, get the grant put together, and then basically what we would do is we would use the grant money to hire a consultant to basically design a road up to the point where we're acquiring right away.
Well, I don't have a problem with y'all applying for these grants, but I do want our regional planning commission to have input
Yes.
on these. This doesn't need to be a closed loop with just that one committee.
No.
We need to be dragging schools into this and everything else, which I think it's what you're trying to do.
Yes.
But I want to make that clear. This is not an internal planning group only.
No way, shape, or form is that the intent.
Yeah, great question. Absolutely, this is the beginning of a movement towards community participation in traffic, traffic solutions. This is, I think, the first step. So yes, we have to decide how do we prioritize next, whether that's a long-range traffic plan or whatever. So I look forward to that
Yes.
broader contribution to priorities.
Can we start getting updates from that task force when what they're going through, what they're meeting, what they're looking
Yes,
at? Some kind of oversight on them?
Yes, thank you. May I, Chairman?
Yes.
So as a citizen, I was allowed to invite planners from every community in Rutherford County, engineers, both private and public, and our traffic consultant, road superintendent, and the mayors of Rutherford County into one room to just brainstorm. We did that twice. in 2025, just a brainstorming session, no budget, no vote, no nothing. And I don't foresee there being another brainstorming session. I think it's over. From that brainstorming session, the planners and engineers of every municipality and the county have met quarterly and continue to do so. So that's off and running. From that brainstorm, SS4 grant was applied for. That's off and running. A capital improvement plan consideration for the mayor's office was formed, and that's off and running. So the brainstorming occurred. Some of the brainstorms have been considered and spread around. So I think that group needs to stop because it's becoming where public decisions have to be made. So I think it'd be inappropriate for any kind of a brainstorming session to occur unless there's advertisement and minutes, that kind of thing.
Anyone else?
Commissioner Piercy? Yes. Commissioner P?
Yes.
Commissioner Dodd?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Cush?
Yes.
Chairman Johnson?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And number 6, we have the Highway Department, Superintendent Greg Brooks. Again. Welcome back.
I do not have an official report for you all tonight. There's nothing that happened beyond what you've already heard at the road board meeting that you need to be made aware of. However, I do want to make a couple comments while I have the opportunity. A lot of times, I know you all as commissioners, members of committees and boards, hear about a lot of problems, but I want to make you aware of something. We have a great thing going here in Rutherford County. The cooperation between departments, the Highway Department, Emergency Management, Sheriff's Department, Fire and Rescue, all came together during this storm that we had, and without all of their help, without all that combined effort, we would have been we would have had a lot of problems that we were able to not have. So I just wanted to make everybody aware that when you see these guys out there, Fire and Rescue, EMA, Chris Clark, it's easy to sit here, like I said last night, it's easy to sit here and think about what we could have done better. And there's always things we could have done better. But the predictions, if you remember, were 18 inches of snow, and then we're going to have less snow and more ice, and then we're going to have all ice. So it's hard to prepare for. And then, the biggest concern I think all of us had was the electricity. And so, that's another entity that needs some credit. I understand that there were people for an extended period of time that did not have power. However, that number was a minimum. Now, if it was you, that doesn't matter that there were only a few. But Middle Tennessee Electric did an outstanding job. They worked day and night for days in conditions that, slippery, treacherous, pouring down rain that was freezing and sticking to everything, snowing straight down. It's rough out there. It is rough. Those men need to be commended. The temperatures were life-threatening. So let's all give them some credit when we have the opportunity. And I just want you to know that. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Greg.
Chairman Phillips.
I've got a question, and I'd like for Mr. DeMasi, too, maybe to have input in this question because it affects both of those departments. And this question is for both of them. There was a bill introduced and considered in January, Senate Bill 1045 and House Bill 0608, introduced by two Rutherford County representatives, Senator Reeves and Representative Rudd. As introduced, it prohibits the state or local or municipal government from requiring a builder or developer of real property to pay for the building or development of infrastructure that is non-essential to the development, maintenance, or growth of the builder's or development property. You both are probably aware of this bill.
Honestly, I just became aware of it.
So neither one of our representatives asked for input from either one of you guys before they introduced the bill. Yes or no?
They didn't ask me.
They didn't ask us either.
So I wondered where they got their information from. If they didn't go to our planning department and didn't go to our highway department to ask for input in this bill, I'm just kind of wondering where it came from.
The bill actually is a holdover from last session. This is not a new bill. This was actually submitted last session, not by these two sponsors, but by some other sponsors, as I recall. We, as a planning organization, actually just today had our first Planners Day on the Hill. I was up there with several of my colleagues from around the state. We talked to several of our representatives. This is one of the bills that we are tracking. Last year, it did not make it. I don't know if it made it out of committee. Honestly, I think it was pulled, but didn't have an opportunity to meet with either Senator Reeves or Representative Rudd. They have tight schedules, and when we were there, it just didn't work out, but unfortunately. But I did bring up this bill to several of the other legislators that we did speak with, so they know that our concerns as planners exist, but also just being from Rutherford County is also, we said we have very serious concerns about this bill. So.
I see where it was introduced. If I'm not mistaken, it was in 25.
It was.
But I've also heard that it's due to come back up this year.
Correct. It has been resubmitted. Yes, sir. And like I said, our planning chapter, our Tennessee planning chapter, this is one of the bills of many that we're tracking. And I'm sure it's not just us. There's a lot of municipalities, counties, and other organizations that are also tracking this one.
So just a quick question. The piece of property, and I think it's in Commissioner James' district, that you have this voluntary contribution toward that intersection. How would a bill like this affect that?
Well, and I might be getting outside of my lane here just a little bit. Let me, at least this is my opinion of that. If it's like you said, if it's a voluntary contribution, I don't think the bill can necessarily stop that. Now, what I think it can stop is what is determined to be essential or non-essential infrastructure.
Right.
And I think that's one of the many faults of the bill is, well, first of all, who really defines what is non-essential? There are definitions in the bill, as you have seen, but who is ultimately making that determination if this is essential for the development or if it's not? Is it the applicant or the developer that's making this decision based on any studies that they do? Is it the county coming back and saying, we've reviewed your studies and we don't find that these are appropriate, we feel that this is essential? It's so vague, and there's a lot of unanswered questions at this point. So it could have a large impact on what we do, depending on if this bill gets passed, and if it does, what form it's in. A lot of it's going to depend on the devil's in the details, like they say, what the final language ends up being. We'll just have to kind of track it and kind of see where it goes, but it has the potential to have a large impact on how we handle these type of developments.
Kind of my point, Mr. Chairman, and I apologize for taking up your gentleman's time, but this is a bill that would affect Rutherford County, in my mind, in a negative way. And we have representatives that did not ask for Rutherford County input. To me, that's a problem. And I just wanted to make that point. Thank you guys for sharing.
And thanks for bringing that up, because I've been an advocate for this paradigm shift in the creation of participation agreements. To me, they're an essential part of Rutherford County taking a leadership role in correcting traffic issues. So I know, I'm glad you brought it up, Chairman, because these participation agreements, I think, have to be a part of our future. in giving Doug tools to properly plan. So please help us stay in touch with that. Thank you, Chairman Phillips.
If I may add to that, Commissioner Phillips, I think the committee that you have put together, I think the effort is managed, sustainable growth as opposed to just random growth. And I believe that maybe as a body, as a commission, you should prepare a letter to our representatives giving your opinion. I can't see why that would hurt anything.
I couldn't agree with you more. That's happened several times in the past. Sometimes it's worked, a lot of times it hasn't worked, or sometimes it hasn't worked, but it's an excellent point. And when we know about these things, and that's what was kind of the root of my question, you know, that these guys represent Rutherford County, and it's at least, I don't know, courtesy, if nothing else, just to ask for our input before a bill like that's introduced. And I know that, and I just wanted to make sure that you guys weren't aware of it before the bill was introduced.
No, sir, we weren't. And I do not want to make light of it, but something keeps ringing in my head, so I'm going to share with you what my father told me recently, and that is, it's a no automatic if you don't ask.
That's true. Building Codes, Director Tanya Bell. Welcome.
Good evening, Commission. I am your Building Codes Director, Tanya Bale, and I have got a monthly report for January for Building Codes. In January, we issued a total of 264 building permits. 44 of those were single-family dwellings, for a total revenue for the month of $143,114.20. And in development tax and school facilities tax, we collected school facilities tax, $911,326.50. We didn't have any development tax receipts this month. And zoning enforcement, we had a total of 185 inspections for the month. This was as you know, a low working day month, so we didn't have a lot going on. Usually February, March, April is when things start to pick up. As Doug was saying there in his report, spring we usually see it bust open. But that concludes my monthly report.
We have a motion and a second to approve the report. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay.
All right, and I just have two other little things. One, I wanted to give you just a quick recap of 2025. I know in county government we focus on fiscal year and revenue on fiscal year and what we do, during the fiscal year, but I just wanted to give you a quick recap on what we did in building codes for 2025. We issued a total of 4,572 building permits in 2025, and 869 of those were for single-family dwellings. We completed a total of 17,783 inspections in building codes and building codes portion of our department. In zoning enforcement, we opened 438 new zoning enforcement cases and 354 code enforcement cases. The difference between the two would be zoning enforcement deals with violations that are associated with our zoning ordinance. So violations that happen on a property that's zoned for one use and they're doing it for something else, a business in a residential neighborhood or something like that. Code enforcement is where people are out there building without permits or not getting the proper inspections and stuff that they need to. So for a total of 792 new cases established, we closed 555 cases this year and completed 1,847 on-site inspections. With the zoning enforcement and code enforcement, there's a lot of telephone calls, there's a lot of conversations, a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations and negotiations and compromise and stuff that happens. So not as much on-site inspections in zoning and code enforcement as there is in building inspections. All right, so nobody has any questions on either one of those? Sorry.
Yeah.
Single-family dwelling was 869. And that's 869. And that was down from the year before, I believe, was 930, maybe, right around there. So it's down a little bit from 2024.
The total building permits were 4,000 something?
4,572.
And then what was the 3,000 number right after that? Oh, I thought I heard 3,000.
3,000.
No, so it went from the 4,500 down to the 869 were single family?
So 4,572 is total building permits.
Right.
That's subcontractors, utility permits, all the permits, additions, remodels, accessory structures. 869 of that 4,572 was single-family dwellings.
Okay.
Single-family dwellings, does apartments classify into that?
So in Rutherford County, we don't have any apartment complexes, so we don't permit them.
So everything you're telling us
It's
rural?
single-family dwelling,
Single-
a unit.
Does
Yeah.
your department track what size lots those are built on?
I can tell the difference between, I can track between whether it's in a subdivision lot or not in a subdivision lot, not necessarily the acreage,
So not being a subdivision lot would most likely be larger than 1 acre?
typically.
Is there any way you could get us
Sure.
some kind of numbers to that for next month?
Sure.
Thank you.
Would you like that on an annual, like 2025, or on a monthly basis, or would you like that for the whole of 2025?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Yeah, just Steve, Commissioner P., can we get to hear that? Do you have every single family permit in the county, does it come with lot size in general? Did you ask for all lot sizes or just the 1 acre? Like, does every permit application have a corresponding lot size at your fingertips, or would you have to go pull the subdivision and compare?
If it's in a subdivision, we would refer to the plat. If it's not in a subdivision, then yes, typically the acreage tract, we can tell, we look at the CMGIS maps that everybody else looks at.
And so what was your request, Steve?
Mr. Dodd, I believe it was to get her to report the size lot the single-family dwellings are built on.
Perfect, thank you.
And school facilities tax in 2025, we issued a total of 3,010 affidavits for tax liability. So that is somebody that's getting ready to go get a permit for something. We receipted funds on 2,205 school facilities payments. That isn't really, I didn't really want to bring up these numbers because the SFT, because we collected on the back end, it's not really representative of the school facilities tax issues or receipts affidavits that we issued in 2025, because the collection might have been from 2024. And these receipts that we issued, or the affidavits that we issued in 2025, likely won't be collected until 2026. So these numbers are a little, the school facilities tax was, well, I brought it anyway, so there you go. Oh, yeah, yes. It'll start to steady out a little bit. I will say that we collected in 2025, we collected about 6.4 million. And I went back and I was trying to determine how much of that, since 2024, October 1 of 2024, we had the opportunity to collect for commercial in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne. We don't have much commercial in Rutherford County. But of that 6.4 million in 2025, there was only 30,000 of it that was commercial. Now, I will say that commercial takes longer to finish, and we'll likely see more income or more revenue generated from commercial this coming year. But 2025, it was only about $30,000 of that 6.4 million. And I can break that down a little better. I was just running some rough numbers over the last couple of days, so. Oh, and one more thing. The resolution to adopt the 2024 code series is currently with the county attorney. I plan to be able to bring that to you next month, take it to county commission also in March for an effective date of sometime in April. So that's coming. And that's it. That's all I have.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
All right, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any other business? Commissioner Piercy.
This is just a suggestion for Mr. Phillips. Maybe the next time our state delegation visited our nice county, you can ask them that question that you have.
Anyone else? Other business? Okay, I'll ask again. If you're not recycling, that's everyone out watching. If you're not recycling, please start. That's very important. I think there's a slogan, if you dump it, you drink it. So basically, part of everything that's dumped goes into the river, you know, if it's just dumped out on the road or wherever. So, please do your part. And I know in my house, we do about 2/3 of our trash is actually recycled. So I'm very passionate about that. So any other business? All right, thank you. We stand adjourned.